short video, I'd like to share with you one of the simplest yet most powerful techniques of selling, and in fact it's part of my conversational influence program. This simple yet effective pattern is known as verbal pacing and leading. This process allows you to influence people easily by making factual statements or truisms that can't be argued with. This is what we call verbal pacing. Then we use suggestions or presuppositions that lead the flow of their thoughts in a specific direction, and this is verbal leading. And what this does is take them from the past or the present and projects them into the future. So let's start by exploring verbal pacing. What you're doing here is pacing their reality. By saying things that you both know to be irrefutably true, the person you want to influence has to agree. Of course, pacing someone's reality using truisms takes a little planning and practice. You see, you don't want to make statements that can be refuted by the other person, because that would get you disagreement when you're looking for agreement and a yes. A truism is any fact you both know to be true. You're watching this training video. You're hearing me talk about verbal pacing and leading, which is a conversational influence language pattern and an excellent sales strategy. Statements of fact or truisms do four useful things. They elicit a positive state in the person you want to influence. They direct the conversation towards your desired outcome. They build and help maintain rapport. And they build response potential, which increases the likelihood of them agreeing with your proposal. Now let's look at verbal leading using presuppositions. Here you're making statements suggesting what you believe will be true, or perhaps what you want the other person to believe will be true. Literally what you're saying is, this is what's in it for you. When you've learned about verbal pacing and leading, you'll find it easier to influence almost anyone anytime you need to. Verbal pacing and leading will ensure you gain agreement from people in an elegant yet effective way. Please notice that presupposition suggestions are in the future tense and they're stating what will happen. Pacing and leading is a language pattern that you design, and it's important to effectively intersperse facts or truisms with suggestions or presuppositions in a gradual way. The pattern should start with truisms and then gradually build in presuppositions. It might look a little like this. Truism, 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 truism. Suggestion, suggestion. Truism, truism. Suggestion, suggestion, suggestion. Notice the pattern and the layering between truisms and suggestions. I'm using a leadership example here to underline the importance of understanding that influence and persuasion is equally as useful for managers and leaders as it is for sales professionals. In the case of a manager who is wanting to develop a member of their team and delegate more responsibility, they might start the conversation with pacing using facts. Harry, it's 3 months since your last review, and last time we met we discussed your career path and your ambitions for the future, and you said you wanted more development. So they start to build in some suggestions or presuppositions. For example, today I want us to explore together how we can find ways to stretch your abilities. You mentioned you'd be interested in moving towards a management role and that you have a special interest in recruitment. And I know you've been involved in coaching new members of the team. I'd like to suggest you get involved in our new recruitment project. So finally, we're leading using only suggestions in this example. This means you will be dealing with agencies, which means you'll gain experience in the interview process and you'll learn how to select the right candidate for the right job, which is a significant part of the manager's role. As you can hear, this conversation flows through the pattern of truisms and presuppositions, elegantly building agreement throughout. Why not try this strategy? Begin by knowing what the outcome for your conversation is and write it down. Then write 3 paragraphs interspersing facts and suggestions using the following pattern. 3 facts followed by 1 suggestion. 2 facts followed by 1 suggestion. 1 fact followed by 1 suggestion, and finally finish with 3 suggestions. Then try and actually speak it out loud. The more you practice, the more it'll naturally flow. Thank you for watching this video, and if you'd like more information on influence and persuasion and sales techniques, just pop your details here on the right and I'll send you my latest report immediately. Powerful Influence.